Hi, everybody. Welcome to BeBop's webinar today. Today, we're taking a little twist. We've been showing you a lot of technology, a lot of demonstrations. We've had some guests come on, but we're going to go talk about a little bit on the business side of it today. So joining me today is the one and only Herb Dow. Herb, how are you doing today, Herb?
I'm good. I'm good. It's very strange to be doing this now. I started in this business back at Desilu in 1966 as an apprentice film editor, and your job as an apprentice is to carry film from projection rooms to edit rooms to the sound effects to the music effects building. And it's strange, but here I am 54 years later still carrying film, except now it's lighter and it's in a cloud and I don't get a bicycle anymore.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. And for those who don't know, I've been in the business for a long time. I've held positions. I was one of the original discrete logic people, which was a time when we saw a big transition into how you work in digital workflows. Spent time at a company called Maximum Throughput, which we sold to Avid. Spent 13 years. I was the worldwide VP of Autodesk Media and Entertainment. And once I saw BeBop, it's something that I knew was going to change the industry once again. And I think nobody really talks about the heritage of the company. BeBop's been around for about 8 years right now. And it used to be DSP Consulting. So we've been building cloud infrastructure for many years. And so our heritage has always been about creating those workflows. And it's come to this point that right now it's not going to happen. It has happened. So Herb, you've been here probably about a year before me, and you've gone through seeing the changes and talking to the studios and everybody else. And I think, from both of our experiences, they've been trying to get there and they've gotten there now.
It's it's an interesting thing. I was involved with leading the revolution to nonlinear editing from film. Back in the mid 80s. And, we got them off of film, but they were still stuck in those little rooms. And I counted it up, and in my years of editing, I was in 27 cutting rooms.
Oh, wow, 27.
Only one of them did I like.
Okay. Your the living room that you're in now, that's your new cutting room.
The one I'm in now. I wish I was cutting here. Yeah. With the refrigerator next to me. I love it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, a couple things, let me start off, when I got to BeBop, we probably have one software package that we were touting on. Adobe's been our greatest partner since day one. But as you can see over the years, the transition is happening and the workflows are happening and companies are adapting to what it is. And, it's all about planning. And we've been planning for this to happen for many, many years right now. And people are coming on board and they're getting to the same place we are in terms of how you're going to work, the benefits of what it is. And during this presentation, those are some of the things we're going to be covering for you as well. And I know all of us have been staying at home and watching some TV programs. I've been seeing these commercials of Jimmy Fallon working at home, and it made me think about, I want to say thank you to some people as well. And in a Jimmy Fallon way. So I get a lot of sales leads and a lot of people coming asking me about how can BeBop help me? So David sent a request from Burbank asking, I want to work remotely from home. David, I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you a laundry service? No? Are you a delivery service? Do you want to do post-production? So it'd be helpful for all of us, to know what type of software you're going to work on. Is it editing? Is it VFX? Are you doing graphics? How many users are you going to be having? These are all the ways that people need to start thinking about how we're going to work in the cloud, or how do I approach planning for it? Most people haven't planned for it. Most people are being forced into planning for it. But today, the answers are there, the solutions are there, and people are working on it. So Thank you, David, for your question. We've had this in our presentation decks, the transition workflows to the cloud. Today, I put a big X over it because we all know that it's happening. We have companies that have, 40, 50, 60, 80 virtual machines currently in one of the different CSP providers, whether it's, Azure, whether it's AWS, whether it's Google. We have the flexibility to get you where you want to be able to go. But there are so many more benefits of you being able to work with the licenses. I showed you the licenses. That's to bring your own license model. So you will have the flexibility and the financial advantage because you already own those. And we can just run them on the BeBop platform. Support, we manage that support that goes along with it. We configure it. BeBop builds you an ecosystem. We don't build you a specific platform and tell you how to use it. We build you an ecosystem that accommodates the way you love to work, and Herb, like geographical flexibility.
It's one of the things, one of the things, every editor or artist has individual plugins they like. And that's one of the benefits of working with somebody like us, BeBop, because we're able to add the plugins you want for your individual system. When you fire up your Google station, your BeBop station, you're basically turning on the same system you want, the plugins you want, and with a usually more powerful computer than you can afford.
Yeah. And some of the other benefits, Herb, geographical flexibility gives you the advantage to hire freelancers wherever you want. You can go find talent in different places. Tax credits. Tax credits is a big one. You can actually have your production set up, send out a bunch of zero clients, get your freelancers and take advantage of that. So there's a lot of pricing benefits that go along with this as well.
One of the things, one of our major customers whose name we can't mention yet, had planned planning a new location, and they were planning on spending $3 to $4 million on video equipment, which they're not going to do now because they found out the cloud works. Don't need that hardware.
Good point. Great point, Herb. So, people were very scared to, as I said, cut the cord. And what I would really like to say is, you got to think about what you don't need anymore. And by that, when people say the cloud is expensive, sorry about that. That's my music from my Jimmy Kimmel, so that's why I didn't turn it off. So when it comes down to the people do not compare what they're spending as an overall budget, whether it's the real estate. I have a lot of people come and ask me about real estate, and a lot of times I need to reduce it, and they're spending 30% of their real estate costs on a machine room that's housing a bunch of old equipment that's going to be terminated. So there's a lot of different advantages when you come into this model. And Herb, you've been around and you've seen this time and time again. You've been through the iterations of machine rooms and workflows and big film rooms, and your vision has come through in a long time that this is going to be the next wave.
This is, this is sort of what we've been waiting for. As you said, geographically, it frees you geographically. You can work with people from anywhere. We have companies where artists are in Singapore and London and France, and they're interacting with each other. We have a thing we named over the shoulder, which as an editor, you used to hate the term because it meant somebody was standing behind you, usually in your room. Now they can be miles away, but you get that work together feeling, which is very important to an artist.
Yeah. So back to my thank you.
Music.
My thank yous. Julia sent in a request from New York, and she said, can you send me a price for 8 editors and 100 terabytes of storage? Great question, and that's the scenario you work in today. But that's not how we work today, Julia. I'll sell you a configuration that has maybe 1 or 2 terabytes to start because you don't need to pay for what you don't want to use. And we can build with that. We also have workflows where, you can have less expensive storage. And we have a great product called Rocket that does all the file movement for you. So we're here to educate you, and we're here to help you plan.
Yeah,
So
Rocket
Julian,
is
thanks
like
for the question.
Rocket is like the bicycle I used to have. We just got a question from Matt Carter asking if there limit how much storage space BeBop can host, and not that we've reached. It's all budget
Yeah,
dependent.
that's one of the beauties of the cloud, Herb. You know, we can build it to scale, and you know, there are really no limitations on the amount of storage that we could build for you. But it really becomes a smart way of you're gonna be working. And I think one of the biggest things we love to educate our customers on is how do you use storage, whether it's second-tier storage, whether it's online storage, and it really comes down to helping you with the cost and saving money. Same with virtual machines. You know, we only spin up as many as you need, but if you have a project comes in and you need to have another 5 or 6, you know, we can do that within, 24 hours, 48 hours to get it all up and running with your profile. So great question. Thank you.
Yeah, and one of the things, when he said you can add extra machines, we have visual effects company using it, and what the artists love is they're working on a shot on machine A, and they can turn that on to render and start another machine without buying another $10,000 Hewlett Packard box.
Yep.
And they can have as many machines working as they want concurrently. A whole bunch of them rendering. It's actually an amazing tool.
Yeah, and great point, Herb. And when you think through about all the different workflows that we can provide, you know what? It really opens people's minds up to how they can expand their business. Companies with multiple locations, it becomes a whole new way of thinking on how you're going to service all these people and your customers and where you're going to be going. So great stuff. So we get asked a lot, how is BeBop sold? So we actually have what's called our subscription models. So if you look at the first layer, we have what's called the BeBop Cloud Operating System subscription. Now you think of this, on our back end, we have a lot of benefits to the customers. We have our MCP, we have our analytics, we have our orchestration layer, and it's more to think about it. When you install an application on a PC or a Mac, there is that orchestration layer that makes everything work, whether it's a video card, whether it's an audio device. And that's where BeBop's orchestration layer has a ton of value. That's where we build our features. That's where we have all our support comes out that back end. So for each organization, there is that subscription with it. Next, we have what's called our all access users. And it's very simple to think about the all access user. It gives you full access to all of the features within the BeBop. And the way that works is for every virtual machine you have an all access subscription. And then we have additional users, which would be above the number of subscriptions you have for the virtual machines. And finally, we have what's great. It's actually a part of our free offering, our collaboration suite. There, it provides the OTS, which we haven't spoken about, the OTS review and approval. But I think everybody who's on this call has seen BeBop or has seen a demo or watched the 4-minute video. And if you haven't watched that 4-minute video, I'll tell you, Michael Comics did a great job on it. It's well worth the watch. But that's anybody in your organization can have access to BeBop through this collaboration suite. And you get full access to OTS. And if you have some people who are just managing data, you can have them use Rocket and they can upload the data because Rocket does not use the GPU systems and the virtual machines. So pricing. A lot of times, what does BeBop cost? So this does not include Azure cost or AWS cost or Google cost. This is BeBop subscriptions. Now I talked about the organizational subscription, and we have price breaks as you go into larger organizations. So the organizational subscription, it starts off at $167 for the small work group. And then beside it, you'll see there are 2 other subscriptions, the all access, which we spoke about, and the additional users for the all access. And the all access, you can see the price breaks as you get into these larger enterprise type deals. But, you know, in the first two, they're very affordable. They scale as your company scales. And I think the important thing is the additional user at the price level that it's at, because it's not a full-time user. So if you have freelancers, or if you have somebody working on the weekends, or you just need to have some people to work extra hours or extra days, they can get a very affordable BeBop subscription to run all that software that we had shown earlier in the presentation. So, and I think in closing, one of the things that this came out today, and I had to put it in the presentation. I saw the headlines, and it is so true to what it was. And you can see the date on it, April 8th. It was released at 12:32 p.m. And NHRA, great customer, great use case. We did a webinar with them a few weeks ago. But, you know, they started a year ago with us with the vision of moving to the cloud. You know, they took 3 years of their library and they put it up into the cloud. They transitioned the editors, the graphic artists, where everybody, you know, had to make that transition and do it. And the wonderful thing about it is, yes, they're not racing. That's terrible. But, you know, they have NHRA.TV and they're still producing programs with it. People are working. They didn't lose a step. And Herb, I know you met some of the editors there.
Yeah, you know, editors are editors, and they are so happy. They were in, you know, relatively small rooms. There were, I think, 8 in one room and 6 in another, and desk by desk. And they love the fact that they can work from home. It's freedom up. The strange thing is, everybody who's working from home, I talked to a lot of editors and artists, they actually end up saying, you know, I work longer. It's like I forget lunch. At 2 o'clock, I'll realize, I haven't had lunch. And they seem to get more done without all the people walking by their office saying hello. It's a big transition.
Yeah. And it is. And all the customers today who have, you know, obviously our user base has grown tremendously since this incident has happened.
Yeah.
You know, but we have talked about DR and business continuity for years, and we've been trying to get our customers to plan ahead and plan with us. And I think moving forward, you know, let's think this thing through together. It really is. The use cases are there, the testimonials are there, and I hope today that, you know, we gave you a little insight into the business back end of what you need to do to think about and start planning how you work in the cloud, not transition, how you keep on working in it. And it's an ever-growing, enhancing, and more companies are putting some glue pieces together, and that's even going to make the experience even better.
Yeah, it really is the future of production and post-production. It just, you know, just driving. It used to, I live in the valley and work in the valley, and it took me 45 minutes to get to the office, even though I'm 13 miles away. Yeah. Just that time you waste every day. This is the future, and we're very proud to be part of it. And come visit us on BeBopTechnology.com. There's a lot of information on there for you.
Yes. Yeah, so I don't know if we have any questions coming up. And if we don't, we'll give it a second to see if anybody has anything they want to ask. So, but exciting times. Love being at the forefront of changing an industry. It's really exciting.
Yeah,
so,
getting to do this again. Yeah,
I know. So Herb, I don't think we have any questions coming in. Okay. So thank you. It's great chatting with you, and everybody stay safe.
Thank you very much, everybody. See you on the flip side, as they say.
See you on the flip side. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.